First of all, thanks for joining us. We know what the goals were last season of trying to get, a win in the playoffs. How would you assess how this season went for the team and the organization?
Well, certainly the last 5 games were a disappointment, and especially after getting off to a good start. And we had a chance to go into Baltimore there the last time we visited in the regular season, and we had a chance to win the division, and so it was disappointing to not come away with a win there, and the way we finished. And so look, we made the playoffs, but we need to have more success in the postseason, and that's what we're working on now.
And you said last year, I believe, that you were getting a little impatient with the playoff win drought. In your mind, how long are you willing to let everything go on as is without making any major changes? I know the changes to the quarterback room, but obviously that wasn't the key to getting there this year. But how long, in your mind, are you willing to let kind of everything go on as is?
Well, I wouldn't say we let things go on as is, because last year we brought in a new offensive coordinator and new coaches on the offensive side, and did change quarterback. So don't know that I would say we don't make changes. Every year is a new year, and it's a new opportunity to take another step, and so that's the way we look at it. Every year's a new challenge, and we just take it year by year.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the quarterback room, I know the new offensive coordinator. In your opinion, where are things at? I know you said it's unlikely to bring back both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. So where does that kind of stand as we speak?
We'll be talking to Justin and his representative, as well as Russell and his representative here soon, and it's one of those things where the sooner the better in terms of finalizing something with one of them.
Have you been in contact? Have the conversation started with either of them or both of them?
Yeah, we've had conversations with both of them. Yep, and they're in terms of the players, they both have said they'd like to come back, so that's a good start.
I was doing my research, and I believe with Rob King, you said, we need to sign more than one quarterback, looking at Justin and Russell, making a decision to have one of them come back to be our starter. That would be the first major decision this team has to make. So with that said, obviously there's been a quarterback competition for many years going into each season, but listening to you say that to Rob, is that when the decision is made, if it's Russell or Justin, is it assumed, or should we plan on that one being the starter and not it being a competition for the first time in a while this year?
I look at the competition as a good thing, and so I think every position on the team should be up for competition. Obviously, it depends on the player and the position and their, let's say, tenure with the team. So there's a lot that goes into it. But I would say that if we sign either Russell or Justin, I would assume from where we are today that one would go into the season being the starter.
And outside of the quarterback room, obviously that's a big need for this team. What, in your opinion, is the next biggest need for this team?
I think that we'll have several, let's say, priorities going into the free agency and the draft, and defensive line, wide receiver. We may need a running back. We're probably going to need some defensive backs. So there'll be a number of positions that we'll be looking to address, either in free agency or in the draft, or both.
It's often said that success starts at the top. We know the culture this team, this organization has built, and Mike Tomlin has been here for years and years. Why do you still think he's the right man for this job?
I don't think you win as many games in this league as Mike has won and not be a good coach. The fact that we haven't had success in the postseason, that's something that I think will come with Mike. We've been in the hunt every year and have made the playoffs, most of the time that he's been here. And so, it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to take that next step. And that's what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. And with Mike, do you hold him? Does he pretty much have free reign, or is he under any type of restrictions when as far as holding him accountable?
You know, I talk to Mike almost every day, so I'm not sure what you mean by held accountable, but, you know, Mike knows our expectations, and, you know, there's nobody in this building that works harder than Mike, I can tell you that. And, you know, he's got all the energy and determination that, you know, that he's ever had, and so that, you know, that's a key reason why I think he's been successful and will be in the future.
Mm-hmm. And he said in his end of season press conference that changes will be coming. We haven't seen a ton of those. Usually at the end of a season, you know, we've seen other teams let go of coaches right away. I know that's not always the Steelers' way, but if and when we see some of those, when will we see some of those changes happen?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it's that time of year when coaching staffs get put together, and so Mike is, you know, doing that, and, you know, talking to the coaches, and, you know, making decisions on whether any changes will be made, and if so, where.
And back to the culture, I mentioned I am a born and bred Pittsburgher too. I've followed this team for my entire life. We know the culture that you guys have built in this organization. Recently, some fans, some commentators, things like that have been maybe calling into question the culture a little bit, the lack of fight we've seen maybe from years past, maybe the lack of discipline we've seen from years past. Is that something that concerns you or bothers you when you hear that come into question?
No, you know, I think, look, I'm very comfortable with the culture in this team, and I think it is a winning culture. You know, I think people need to keep it in perspective here. Even though we haven't kind of reached our goal of winning a Super Bowl, we've had winning teams. We've been making the playoffs, and I understand the disappointment in terms of not succeeding in the postseason, and that, you know, that's what we have to do. But you know, it's not like we haven't had some success around here, and we just need to continue to build on the culture that we have, and, you know, players like TJ and Cam Hayward, you know, those kind of players, you know, help you with the culture and make sure that it's being passed down to the younger players.
Mm-hmm. I want to shift our attention from the past now to the future, the draft coming up in just over a year. What kind of preparations are you guys working on, kind of, and what does the next year look like to get to that point here?
Well, there's going to be a lot of planning work being done over the next few months, and you know, our friends over at Visit Pittsburgh are really leading the charge in terms of all the planning efforts. So you know, just a lot of behind-the-scenes planning going on right now. In terms of, you know, will you see changes on the site over there? I think that will not come until next spring sometime. But you know, in terms of security needs and you know, hospitality needs, you know, planning for all those kinds of things is going on in a big way now, and you know, just looking forward to it. It'll be great to host the draft.
Mm-hmm. And I understand you guys had a crew last year and will this year in the respective locations of the draft. What are they looking for to kind of pull and, you know, taking notes on to maybe implement or do differently or the same next year?
Yeah, we had a group that went up to the draft in Detroit last year, and we'll have a group that'll go up to Green Bay this year, and you know, they're just looking at, you know, how things are done, and, you know, the location of events, and security, and all of those kinds of things. Every city is a little bit different. You know, our site is going to be a little different than Green Bay, obviously, and so you know, it will have to be geared toward our city and our site. But there's always something you can learn by seeing, you know, how other people are doing it.
Yeah, very fair. In addition to that, in the future, maybe more recent or sooner future, potentially, the game in Ireland. How are things? Are we expected to hear maybe a final decision on that? Kind of where does everything stand with the potential game there this coming season?
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed. Would like to get that information soon about a game in Ireland. You know, the league is working on it, and you know, they've got to put sort of all the final pieces in the puzzle together in terms of the stadium and everything that's got to happen over in Dublin. So there's a lot of work that goes into, you know, planning for a game to be hosted on a site that doesn't normally have one. But I think, I'm hoping soon we'll get some official word on that.
Does Dan have a lot of involvement? I know he's there kind of often, I guess, fair to say.
Yeah, my son Dan, I think it's fair to say, is the point man for us in Ireland at this point, and he's been spending some time over there, and you know, I think the planning for us, you know, having a presence in Ireland has gone well, and and he'll be involved if we do in fact get assigned to be in the game over there.
If you do, it will be a home game. Is that correct?
It'll be one of our home games if we do move over there. Yep.
So, where do you guys stand as far as giving up an actual home game inside of Acrisure Stadium? Is that something you guys are willing to do, to have one over there?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it wouldn't happen very often, to be a rare occasion, but it'll be essentially this year, instead of having two preseason games, we'll only have one, and so it'll be a little bit different, but I think it'll be, you know, a nice opportunity for us to be in front of fans in Ireland and Europe, and really for some of our fans to travel over there.
Yeah. And finally, I wanted to ask any projects you guys might have going on behind the scenes that we might not know about yet, or things early on in the works, as far as maybe, I know the expansion of the North Shore is happening. You guys have any involvement of that in, and or any upgrades to Acrisure Stadium we're looking ahead to in the next few years?
You know, we're working on a few different things, and I think, you know, probably later this year we'll be able to talk about some of those plans and what we might see this year and in the future.